Hello everyone, my name is Jason, aka Bacon Chest, coach of the St Kilda Serperiors. Welcome to the grand final of the ABA, or the Allied Battling Association. This is going to be our game against Ashenmoor and the Gen7Garchomps. So, this is actually a rematch from the very last game of the season, where it was the top two teams going up against each other, and we're going up against each other again in the final, so this should be a really good game. Last time we picked up a very narrow, very lucky 1-0 victory, on the back of a high jump kick miss from Minishay, which, you know, I wasn't particularly happy with that. I wasn't particularly happy with the team I assembled. I got a little bit unlucky in the early game. My Pro Marina, which was my primary response in that game to Mega Swampert, got crit by an earthquake and went down, which is a bit unfortunate, but what are we going to do? So, what I see looking at team preview here is that my opponent has bought the exact same six as last time. I'm expecting some slightly different sets, but I didn't really see that many sets last time because it was a very offense, tit-for-tat kind of game, where most mons only clicked one or two moves. So neither of us saw a huge amount of the other's plans, except for, in my case, I did try and, I believe I had Autotomize Celesteela. Yeah. So, what have I bought this time? So, as you can see, yeah, he's got the Mega Swampert, the Pelipper, the Mienshao, Thunderous Tea, Kingdra, and Bronzong. I'm expecting Bronzong to be obviously bulky Levitate to take on Lando. Kingdra probably to be a special set, maybe with like Life Orb or Specs. Thunderous to probably be a setup sweeper, although it might be a bulkier set. Mienshao is going to be Scarf, that's just guaranteed. It's a really, really good Scarfer against my team. Pelipper will have the Damp Rock, again, guaranteed, and Mega Swampert does what Mega Swampert does. So, I've bought a slightly different team to last time. Last time I had Arcanine in the squad, which was a really bad idea. I had Primarina in the squad, which was a really good idea, although one that I kind of expected him to predict this time around. And I had something else, I cannot remember off the top of my head. But anyway, what have we bought this time? We have a Spikes Frostlass, standard Spikes lead, with Shadow Ball to hit Bronzong. Really, really bulky Alolan Persian to be able to tank 2 waterfalls in the rain from a Mega Swampert, which is really, really handy, and get huge damage off with Foul Play, Parting Shot to potentially set something up later in the game. Spadef Celesteela, which is my only real way of tanking any hits from Kingdra, aside from Celebi, which is a sort of bulky, like a bulky Stealth Rock Celebi. We have a Wise Glasses Zapdos with no electric stat. We have Ancient Power, U-Turn, Air Cutter, and Hidden Power Grass. And the point of that set is that so I was kind of expecting to see Kartana, because Primarina did give my opponent a lot of, could have potentially given my opponent a lot of issues last game. So I was kind of expecting to see Kartana as a response to that. So Wise Glasses Air Cutter was my way of OHKOing that without suffering Life Orb damage. Realistically, probably Expert Belt might have been a better option, but, you know, it is what it is. But yes, looking at this matchup, the basic game plan I had... Oh, and my last mon is the most important mon, which is a Rock Polish, U-Turn, Stone Edge... I think it was U-Turn. Definitely Rock Polish, Edge Quake, and I think the fourth move was U-Turn, but I'm not 100% sure. Landorus T, and the premise behind this was if I could get rid of Bronzong, because last time I bought defensive Lando... and I have a Yachi Berry on the Lando, so it can tank a HP Ice from Thunderous Tea. Let's slow down a bit. The premise of this Lando is that if I can get rid of Bronzong, and if there's some chip damage on Swampert, then we Rock Polish up on Hidden Power Ice from Thunderous Tea, and we win the game. That's just... we just win. Like, once Swampert has enough chip on it, Pelipper certainly dies after rocks to a Stone Edge, Mienshao goes down to an Earthquake, and we have enough speed that we outspeed every single possible Rain Sweeper, and yeah, we outspeed everything on his team at +2, which is really, really nice. I think we may not have outsped a timid Kingdra, but I just did not expect a timid Kingdra against my squad. So, let's see how the match pans out. So I lead off with Frostlass because, again, as I've said, the game plan is to get chip on Swampert. and the game plan is that we need to get rid of Bronzong. Frostlass lures in the Bronzong, which is going really well. We get up the spike, so we're able to get off the spike, and we're going to be able to get some damage on the Bronzong. I know he's not going to click rocks here because he knows that I could very easily carry the taunt, and he can just knock me out with Gyro Ball. Probably could run a Berry Berry in hindsight to potentially live this and be able to 2-hit KO, but I was worried about Scarf knockoff from the Mienshao, and so I didn't necessarily want to like go down turn 1. I did want to make sure I got up a single layer. So yeah, we got off over 50% on Bronzong, which is really handy damage. He takes me out, and I'm just going to put that on slow, just so we can slow down a little bit. I bring out a Alolan Persian, and I just click knockoff here, because it's my best play for getting damage on Bronzong, and it's my best play for hitting up the incoming Pelipper. Because I didn't really expect Mega Swampert to come in, because it would take damage that it didn't really want to, and it wouldn't have rain up, so I could easily parting shot on it and go out to any of my Mons, really, that can take a hit outside of rain. I didn't expect Mienshao because... sorry, I didn't expect Mienshao to come back in, because I could potentially either foul play for a lot of damage, parting shot, and then have a setup opportunity, or or just knock off and get rid of his Scarf, which would be really bad for him late game. And I didn't expect like Thundurus or Kingdra for the same kind of reasons. So it goes out to the Pelipper. I get the knockoff off, which is great because he's only going to have one, maybe one big opportunity to go for the Rain Sweep. So I just go out to Celesteela because I can tank anything from this Pelipper, and I was kind of expecting the Hurricane, just because I do have that Celebi there. But he goes for the Scald, gets the burn, which is a little bit unfortunate because I do have Rock Slide on this, but it is what it is. We're able to go for Leech Seed, we're a bulky Spadef set. Burn is not the worst thing in the world. We're able to get off some damage on Bronzong, which is good. We've got the seeds up. I just go straight back into Alolan Persian because this is my only real way of killing this thing, at least in a particularly effective manner. So I'm just going to click the knockoff here. I imagine he's going to sack after getting up rocks, and he does, which is nice. So we've gotten rid of the Bronzong. That's step 1 done. Now he brings out the Kingdra, and Kingdra in rain is just going to kill my team. This was the problem with not bringing Primarina. I did kind of do it because I wanted to be a bit more unexpected in this return matchup, but as it turns out, it's just kind of, he's just doubled down on the same team. So this thing is going to be a huge problem, and I don't really know how I'm going to beat it. But, you know, if we can get rid of the rain, if we can survive long enough to the point where we've gotten rid of the rain, we can still potentially win. I decide to sack Celesteela here, but I was kind of hoping he would click Draco, but it makes sense why he didn't. Although I was somewhat expecting the Draco to catch the Celebi switch in, but as I find out later, he is actually Specs, which means that like Hydro Pump's going to do a hell of a lot to even a very bulky Celebi as mine is. He gets a crit there with Hydro, which is really annoying because that crit does matter, and it doesn't matter in so much as he would have just clicked Hydro again, probably hit, you know, obviously then has to hit 2 80% moves rather than 1, but I'm not so much worried about that as I am about the fact that he now has an extra rain turn than he would have had to play with, especially because I could have clicked Protect and then he would have had like 2 less rain turns, and also 2 less Hydro Pumps, which, you know, is potentially relevant, like once you've lost like 3, particularly given that I do have Pressureamon and Zapdos in the back. Anyway, I bring out Celebi here. I don't actually, the last thing that I don't get from this information, I don't actually realize he's Specs at this point, because that crit kills regardless of whether or not he's Specs or like just very, very powerful Kingdra, so that was a bit unfortunate as well. Anyway, we're just going to get up our rocks as he goes out into the Mienshao. Potentially could have clicked Psychic there, because it did have very, very good neutral coverage on his team at this point with Bronzong gone. So in hindsight, that was a bit of a bad play. Simply because whilst rocks are useful for getting damage on Thundurus and Pelipper, I need damage on them less than I do damage on Swampert and less than I do offensive pressure on the team in general. So yeah, not the best play. We're forced to go out into Big Bird because Big Bird is my switch into this Mienshao as he goes for a knockoff. Gets rid of my Wise Glasses, and, you know, I'm sure that was a fun moment for him, being like, why the fuck is he running Wise Glasses? But anyway, I have the Air Cutter, but I'm just very much anticipating the Thunderous Tea to come in here because it's just such an obvious switch in. And this is where the rocks actually do help me quite a bit. We're able to do 64% with the Ancient Power, which is good tech. Unfortunately, it's not really going to help us here. If we still had the Wise Glasses, that 10% boost may have... It still wouldn't have killed, but it would have gotten very close. But crucially, the Thunderous is dead after rocks, which is, you know, kind of nice because it is his Z user, so I'm like, I was a little bit worried about it sweeping my team. You know, as you can see, it's just a lot of things on this squad that sweep my team. But yeah, we're going to be forced to sack Zapdos here to the HP Ice, and this is where I think there are two mistakes. So the first one I've already pointed out is not clicking Psychic with Celebi when I was in on the Kingdra. But the second mistake was probably not bringing an Assault Vest on Zapdos. I think an Assault Vest Zapdos, because I had 4 attacks, I didn't have Defog, I didn't have Roost, so there was no real reason not to run Assault Vest. With an Assault Vest, I would have lived that hit and been able to kill this Thunderous off and still had my Zapdos in the back. And if I'd clicked Psychic with Celebi at that point, then I wouldn't have lost my item. You know, so I would, like, it would have ricocheted down the line. I potentially would have had that Assault Vest in the back later in the game. So yeah, a couple of mistakes there, but so things are looking pretty grim. We're down 5-3, but with Pelipper weakened, with rocks up, with a spike up, we can still potentially win this if we can force in the Swampert and get some damage off on that. So my plan with bringing in Lando here is that I know that I know he knows I have the Archie Berry. I had it last time. I have it this time. I know he's going to click HP Ice, but I should be able to live that with enough HP that I will still have more than enough to live something like a U-turn or even a knockoff once I've lost my item from Mienshao after taking another rock switch in. So my plan here was to rock polish, kill this thing off, and then be able to switch out, sack something off, and potentially bring this thing back in. Yeah, like, it was not the best plan, but it was a plan that I had to potentially win this game, by potentially getting off damage on Swampert, because, yeah, like, obviously, as I've already established, Persian is a really good switch in to that Mega Swampert, and so we would have potentially been able to get Rocky, I believe I had Rocky Helmet chip off on it, and then once we've done that, and it has to come in again, then we win the game. But, as it turns out, clicks the HP Ice, gets a critical hit through the Yachi Berry, so it takes me down to 5%, and now I've basically lost, because I can't come back in on rocks, so I'm forced to click Stone Edge, which obviously I was going to do anyway. We get rid of General Kenobi, but that brings out the Swampert, and now I can't switch out, unfortunately, so I don't really have an option. All I can do is click Earthquake. We do a lot of damage to Swampert, and you can see that if Swampert had taken... if Swampert had been forced to take Rocky Helmet, been forced to take another Spike, another Rock, switch in, then it would have been very, very close to being in range. Probably not quite in range, as it turns out, but, you know, it would have given me a reasonable chance, particularly maybe with some good Earthquake rolls, or it would have, at the very least, given me the chance of, like, potentially critting the Swampert to win the game. But, yeah, as it stands, we go down. Now we've pretty much lost the game, but we're playing for pride at this point. And I go out to Celebi, I click Giga Drain, we get rid of the Swampert, so that's nice. So now we're a little bit freer with what we can do with Persian. He brings out the Pelipper to reset the rain, obviously, good call there. And my thought is that, well, he's trying to sack Pelipper now, so he can bring in Kingdra, and, you know, wipe out my last 2 mobs. So I click Psychic, and it doesn't kill, and he clicks Hurricane, he does 50, and I'm thinking, this is actually great, because I can recover stall this Pelipper, and if I'm at 100, Kingdra can't, as far as I'm aware, kill me with anything, because I was expecting it to be Ice Beam, Hydro, Draco, and either Dragon Pulse or Surf, like, just for, like, reliable stab that didn't have a chance of missing. And so I'm thinking, cool, we can just stall out these rain turns. He can't switch because then he won't be able to kill me. And without rain, he won't be able to kill me. So I'm kind of in a bit of a win-win situation here. Still not necessarily going to win because Minishay is a real problem, but, you know, we could potentially pull something off. He does go out into the Kingdra here, and I'm thinking, cool, well, I can live any hit here, and potentially put this in range of Fake Out from Persian, and certainly, and in fact, it actually doesn't matter if I put it in range of Fake Out from Persian, because once I Fake Out, the rain will be gone, and then I'll outspeed. So then he pulls out the Choice Spec Signal Beam, which I just, like, didn't even think to check Kingdra's set to see that it got Signal Beam, so that's a problem. As we click Fake Out here, and here's where my opponent extends the game a little bit, because he didn't understand how rain mechanics worked. Is that he's thinking I can potentially KO him. I could have had like Play Rough, which may have been able to kill. I'm not actually sure. Kindra's relatively bulky, but you know, depending on my set, obviously he has no idea what my set is right now. I could have been like a max attack, you know, expert belt with Play Rough. Maybe that kills. But yeah, depending on my set right now, you know, Play Rough potentially kills off both Kingdra and Minishay, so I can understand why he was going for pretty much the guaranteed win with the Spec Signal Beam in the rain. So he switches out into Pelipper thinking it brings the rain back. Unfortunately for him, it does not. So then at this point, he's actually like, oh god, no. Because he's thinking, oh, I'm fairly certain what's going through his head at the moment is that he's going through nightmares of the previous game where he missed a high jump kick on the last turn to win the game. And he's worried he's going to have to do the same thing again, so he brings back in Kingdra, thinking, well, a 1-0 in a championship game is fine, differential doesn't matter at this point. So I'm thinking, alright, well, we can maybe kill this thing from 31%, because we will outspeed. We click Foul Play and it does 29, and I'm like, well, okay, there we go. As he clicks Draco, which, like, I don't understand that play at all, frankly, over Signal Beam, it could have missed. But anyway, GG to Ashenmoor and the Gen7Garchomps. This was a really, really fun game. Really, really tough to prep for. Some good mind games, and frankly, his squad was just incredible. Like, it was just a very, very well-built rain team. It had all the usual suspects, but also some really interesting stuff like Minishay. Yeah, like, it was a very, very uphill matchup, but I thought we gave it a fair shake, and I thought it was a really fun game. It's been a really, really fun season. Shoutouts to Gatsby, Minishay, and I've forgotten his name. Damn it. Not great with the shoutouts, but shoutouts to the whole team over at the ABA, because they did a really good job this season, really good job running the show, and it's been really, really fun. I really enjoyed coming in, you know, 2 weeks in, or like a week in, and, you know, drafting a team of scraps and leftovers, and pulling together what I thought was a really, really fun squad. I really, really enjoyed using things like Celesteela, Lando, Mega Gyarados, and even the more niche stuff like Alolan Persian was just really, really fun. So yeah, that's about it from me. We've got the ICBA D-League and also the MLBA starting up soon. We'll have draft analysis out next Saturday for the ICBA D-League. I'm not sure when we'll start having content for the MLBA, but it should be relatively soon as we're about to finish up drafting. We've got a couple more ones to go there. And we've also got PSBC. I'm not uploading that at the moment, although if we manage to make a playoff run, then potentially I will do the same thing I did here and upload the playoff games. So, really, really good game again to Ashenmoor, and until next time, peace.